especially since on Friday, a spokesperson from the army held a press conference essentially announcing that he's now officially in full isolation. But since the last visit that he got from his family, which was the first one he'd had for a whole month, he wasn't allowed to any visits for the whole of November. And according to international law, any over 15 days of solitary confinement is considered psychological torture. And yeah, since that press conference, he's essentially been officially put in isolation. And not just that, he was labelled mentally ill, delusional, and a national security threat. So that's all pretty stressful for us and kind of made us want to contribute more.
This defence minister, by the way, was lying through his teeth through the interview. I'll open his head because he was saying we had regular contact with our father. He was like, "Oh, come, they can come and visit." They'd said earlier that we get arrested if we go over there. So it's just filled with contradictions. They in the interview contradict themselves, saying that India controlling his Twitter, and then he says, "Oh, but he has Twitter access from his cell." So he's just. If you have any common sense, you can see the man's just lying through his teeth. They're the scum of the earth, these people. They're the lowest of the low. So another thing that frustrates me while I'm on it is the comparisons people draw between our father and other politicians who have also been to jail. They say, "Oh, these Pakistani politicians, they're always in and out of jail." They're in jail for about 3 months at max. Then they take a deal, they have no integrity, they take a deal, they go to England, a few years later the army says you can come back, and then they're suddenly back in power or around power. He's been in a solitary confinement cell for over 2 years where he's had filthy water, he's around inmates who are dying of hepatitis, the conditions are disgusting, and also he's completely isolated from any human contact. Anyone who was corruptible would take any of these deals that they've offered him, coming to England or going into house arrest. He is, these comparisons with these other politicians are laughable. He would never take a deal and leave all of his other party members in jail to die and fester in these jails. And instead he stays in those conditions. He's happy to rot if it means that he can move towards his goal of ridding Pakistan of corruption, a goal that he has stated to us 1,000,000 times. So the comparisons are infuriating, to be honest.
I want to ask a little bit more about his conditions in prison. You spoke a little bit about what it's like inside, but what do you know about how he's coping in there, solitary confinement? If you can describe to us what that's like inside there and how he's doing. I mean, he's a 73-year-old man as well.
Who's been shot 3 times in the past few years. He, as well as that, I mean, I said that the water's filthy, the food's nowhere near up to scratch. The only doctors he sees are these kind of military doctors. He's not able to see personal physicians or anything like that. And then also, what I said about daylight, I mean, he's inside a cell for 23 hours. I think he gets max an hour, if that. I think he was getting around 20 minutes recently. So the conditions are awful. They're not bad. They're awful. It's
it's been described as a death cell, the cell that he's in, because I think inmates who have been put on death row have been put in these small cells before with barely any light. Sometimes the electricity's been cut off. Dirty water, as Carson was saying, and just completely substandard conditions that don't meet international law for any sort of prisoner.